Hello everybody, Galvatron here, and welcome to my review of Kingdom Galvatron. Finally, yes, I've had this guy for a while now. I've already removed his battle damage, so yeah, you're gonna have to bear with me through that. But without further ado, let's get into this Kingdom Galvatron, our only leader class figure from Wave 3. Let's do it. Now, mine is misassembled. He does have the misassembled shoulders. I have heard that people have been able to find them recently without misassembled shoulders, so there is that. I'm not really all that mad at it. It's not that big a deal. If you really want to fix them, there are tutorials on YouTube that I would recommend checking out. But I'm personally okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'll just deal with it. But here is Kingdom Galvatron, and he is an absolutely wonderful take on G1 Galvatron. I love the way he looks. He very much looks very good. I love the head sculpt. You got the nice classic Galvatron crown right there. Love the purple. Very good shade of purple. His torso is very bulky, but I do think it looks pretty good. He does look a little squat. I think that I remember when the first pictures of this figure came out, he looked really squat and weird like that. He looked like that Keanu Reeves meme. You know what I'm talking about? But in hand, he doesn't look like that whatsoever. And I think honestly, it was because I don't know. I think there was something wrong with that, like those first couple pictures. I think someone might have fucked with those because he doesn't look anything like how he did in that in those first couple leaked pictures, which is very, very, very nice. And overall, I honestly think he looks extremely good. Like, he's a very nice looking Galvatron. Plastic wise and tolerance wise, it's all very, very, very good. He feels very good. And I honestly think I'm kind of worried that they put all the budget for Wave 3 into Galvatron here, because so far Rhinox has been terrible. Rhinox was like terrible. I have not been impressed with what I've seen from Scorponok, and same with Trax. And Wingfinger does look pretty cool, but he also doesn't look all that he looks like he might have been pretty cheap to make. So I think they probably blew their entire budget on Galvatron and Rodimus Prime. Don't really have a huge thing against that, but I don't know. I did just want to point it out because it was something I kind of noticed. But overall, I do really, really like the way he looks. Now, articulation-wise, he's got some pretty good articulation. A nice ball joint at the head sculpt. Nice double jointed elbows, which is very, very nice. The cannon is very nice. It is kind of half transparent and half like opaque, which is pretty cool because it kind of combines both the cartoon and the toy. So you kind of have a little bit of both, because the toy had the transparent cannon, and then the cartoon, his cannon was all opaque. But yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine in my opinion. It does accept blast effects, which is always awesome. He does have this monstrous back kibble right here, but if you had a actually assembled right Galvatron, then you actually would have an out to that, because basically, so the way you have to have it if you want him to look proper but you don't have the properly assembled figure, you have to rotate his arm around like this. And if you have it like this is how it's supposed to be, but this is misassembled on the first run of the figures. But what it's supposed to have is this port on the back where you can plug that tab into that port, and that will keep that in place, which is nice. But it does get rid of the swivel right there. So there is that. So it's not a huge deal that it does lock you out of that if you bring this forward, because you don't have the place to tab it in on the back anymore. It's not a huge deal because, I mean, you kind of don't want to do that anyway because you want to have that swivel, but still, I mean, I definitely would have preferred if I could have gotten one that was assembled properly, but I'm not gonna freak the fuck out over it, okay? I'm not gonna freak out over it. So, there you go. There you have Galvatron overall. I think he just looks really good. I like the little red paint apps on his torso right there, the Decepticon logo. Very, very nice looking figure. I'm very happy with him. Alrighty, accessory-wise, you do get some pretty cool accessories with him. First off, you get a Matrix on a chain, which is a cool accessory that you can just wrap around his head, and there you go. He has a Matrix on a chain. It looks really weird, though, because it's just like, it's like huge. It's absolutely huge. It like sticks out like a sore thumb, and it doesn't look particularly great, but it's okay. It's not too horrible. I don't hate it, but definitely don't think it's the best thought out. I think it could have been better. And the other thing you get is you get two very plain versions of his ship, the Revenge. And this is such an interesting accessory. Like, from the very first time we saw this accessory in like the first pictures, I didn't know what to think of it. It's so weird. It's just his ships, and they're gray, and he's supposed to hold them like guns. Like, you can give them to him to hold as guns, and that's all there is to it. And you get two, so you can give them on both sides, or I'll show you in a second one other thing, but yeah, you can give it to him on both sides, and he can have two weird ship guns, and they're clearly ships. Like, they look like ships. But their guns. And then if you want to, you can also combine them together. You can see that they combine together like that, and it kind of makes like a tower type dealio, which is interesting. And you can give that to him and have it even more. I honestly don't like this accessory as a gun at all. I do think it's kind of cool as a little version of the Revenge, so it's a fun accessory to throw in there, but I don't use it with him. And it's not a big deal because he's got the cannon, so you don't really need another gun. But if you get those, you get 2 of those. If you want them, use them. If you don't want them, throw them in a drawer or hang them from the ceiling or do whatever the fuck you want with them. I don't care. You can do whatever you want with them. But there you go. There you have the accessories. Very nice overall. Like, I'm really happy with the figure overall. So there you go. Very nice. For some comparisons, as you can see, I think he scales perfectly with all of your other WFC Trilogy figures, especially Scourge and Cyclonus. He looks great with them. And yeah, I mean, these are, like this and the Kingdom Cyclonus and the Studio Series 86 Scourge, it's a pretty perfect trilogy of figures. Like, all 3 of them are very, very, very awesome, and that is really great. I would actually go as far to say that I think that of the 3, Galvatron might be the weakest of the 3 figures, but I still really like him. It's not a huge thing. I mean, those are just 2 of the best Transformer figures I have personally ever seen. Both Studio Series 86 Scourge and Kingdom Cyclonus. They're both just so unbelievably good. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick. But overall, I really, really like the way he looks, and I like the articulation, and I like the figure overall. So, for transformation. Also, I totally forgot to talk about the battle damage because I had already removed it. So when you get this figure, there's going to be some battle damage on him. There's going to be some like splotches of battle damage on his torso, on his forearms, and on his legs down here. But if you really hate it, take some rubbing alcohol. Look up online, though. I'd recommend looking up tutorials and shit to make sure you do it right. But you can get some rubbing alcohol, and you can rub that, you can use some rubbing alcohol and take that battle damage right off. There's a really great, there's multiple tutorials out there. Ball Matrix did one, so I would recommend that one probably. I haven't watched any others, so there you go. You can check that one out if you really want to. It's super duper easy. All I did was just take a Q-tip and a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and it came right off. It'll take you probably like 20 minutes tops, probably. It's really easy, and honestly, I think he looks about 30 billion times better without the battle damage. The battle damage is pretty distracting most of the time, in my opinion. So, yeah, I did feel like I probably should have thrown something in there about the battle damage, considering that he does have it when you get him out of the box, but it's so easy to remove that if you really hate it, I don't think you really need to split hairs about it. Just get rid of it. It's super easy. All I would recommend doing is to be careful, because one thing I'll show you real quick is I also removed the battle damage on my Siege Megatron, and this was the first time I had done this, and I accidentally hit his Decepticon logo a little bit on this side, and it actually took a little bit of paint off right there. Also on his arm over here, you can see that little red spot right there. That also was taken off because I accidentally hit it with rubbing alcohol. So when you're doing this, I would highly recommend to take your time with it. Be very careful with it, because if you touch any paint with that rubbing alcohol, it's going to come off. So you're going to want to keep that Decepticon logo away. You could maybe even, like, I don't know, like, I don't really know exactly what you could do. What I did was I took a little cotton ball, and I put it in this cavity here, and I put a rubber band around it, so that part with all the red bits was completely safe. And I just tried to be as careful as possible with the Decepticon logo, and I don't see any bleeding with the Decepticon logo whatsoever. So I think I succeeded in that. So yeah, just make sure you don't come into contact with any paint that you don't want to remove. Once again, I would recommend looking up tutorials, do your research. It's really not that hard, but definitely do your research. So there you go. Definitely wanted to touch upon that real quick as well. Alright, transform Galvatron, we do have to do some parts forming here. We have to remove the cannon and pop that apart. That piece likes to come apart pretty easily. And now we can begin. We can just set this stuff off to the side real quick. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, make sure that you have the shoulders in this configuration. So if you have them rotated around like that, then you're going to want to rotate them back around like that. Alright, take the fist, and then you're going to fold them in, and you're going to bring them up on the double joint and get that tab in place right there. And then bring the tread down and have it like that, just like that. And then same thing on the other side here, flipping the fist, bring it up and peg it in place.
and take the tread and bring it down just like that. Now we can take the arms, disconnect them from there. Don't worry, it's not going to be difficult because there's going to quick one to pop out, and you're also going to disconnect them from the torso just like that. So you have that going on. It looks like Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street. Then you're going to flip those in, come to the back here, take these pieces, bring them out, and you can have a tab and a slot right there that you just want to get like that. So you're going to want to have it looking like that on both sides. So flip this out, bring this that way, and there you go. Once again, you want to have that, and then you want to fold these this way, and then connect them, and you have a couple of tabs right there, tab, slot, and you want to get all this locked together, and you're going to hear it good because it's got quite a bit of locking. So there you go. Get that all locked together, and you're good to go there. Now take the torso, and you're going to want to take this piece, open this up, and then take this, bring this down to the double hinge, and peg it in place just like that. Take this piece, disconnect it from there, and then take the torso here, open this piece up, and you want to come to the back here and open this piece up and get that in there. And then this is going to be a little scary. What you got to do is get the head here, and you want to get this into this little cavity here. And there's this spot that's kind of difficult to get over, but really you kind of just have to push through it just like that, because you're going to feel some resistance when you get to this spot right here. This isn't going to go, but you just have to force it, and there you go. So once you do it a couple times, it doesn't feel as bad, and you want to close that up, and you want to get that just like that. It's a little complicated, but after you do it a couple times, it's really not that bad. So you want to make sure that you get these little pieces out of the way, and then you want to take the back here, fold this back, bring this down, and you can see you kind of have like a little cutout for the crotch piece to go into just like that. And then you want to bring this piece up, and you have a tab and a slot right there, and oh, actually not really, but you do just kind of have to just sit it up there, and it locks in place just like that. And then you want to bring the legs up, and you have two slots right there that'll go into two tabs on either side of the legs just like that, and they kind of just find their way in. And then you want to bring the arms down. You want to bring them down, and then you can take this piece, bring this down, and you want to get that around there. And then you have a tab and a slot right there, just like that. And you just want to get that like that. And then down here you have a tab right there that you have to connect into that little slot right there on either side. So just get that locked in. Same thing on this side. Get that tabbed in. Get that locked in place, just like that. This one can be a little more difficult, but just get it in there. There we go. And get the treads nice and situated just like that. And then take this piece, plug this onto the back, take the cannon piece, plug it into the front, and then come down here, take this piece, fold this out, and then use the angle pivot to get this piece out and bring that back up. And there you have Galvatron in his space cannon mode.
And there it is, the Galvatron cannon mode in all of its glory. I'm going to be honest with you, I think they knocked it out of the park. I really love this. As an updated version of Galvatron's cannon mode, like, let's face it, this alt mode is stupid. Like, this makes no sense. But this is like the best I think they probably could have gotten it. Like, this is a really, really awesome rendition of Galvatron's cannon mode. This is like exactly what I wanted from this figure. It's just really good. It looks really, really, really good. It's a very cool update and kind of recreation of the cannon mode. The transformation is fun too. It's pretty fun. Like, most of it is very satisfying. It locks together very nicely. I love those extra little clips down there. Some things can fight you a little bit, especially like the torso piece and how you have to do that in like that proper order. But outside of that, honestly, it's just a very solid cannon mode. Like, I really, really do like it. And then for accessory storage, you can put the little matrix thing on here, and then it actually has a little tab, slot and tab right here that you can plug the matrix into right there. So you have that. And then for the cannons here, you can plug them onto these tabs right here, and you just plug them into the little slots underneath the connecting bits for when you combine them together, and you can just tab them in right there. It's, once again, like I said, I really don't care for these all that much, these ship guns, but hey, it's what you get with the figure. So there you go, you can do that and have those on there. And yeah, that's a very fun little storage solution if you want to, but me personally, I just throw these in my accessory drawer because I don't really care for them. Same with the matrix. But yeah, overall, it's a really, really, really great version of Galvatron's cannon mode, and I like it. I just really, really like it. So there you go. Here's some comparisons. Final thoughts on Kingdom Galvatron? As far as the Galvatron goes, this completely has satisfied my need, my want for a Galvatron. He does the trick in my opinion. I really like this figure. I think they really did a lot of great things with him. Aside from a few minor little nitpicks, honestly, I don't really have any real complaints. He's very nice. I do wish I had gotten one that was properly assembled, because I think that kind of goes without saying, but it's a perfectly workable little issue. If you really care, you can take a couple, like, just look around. You'll be able to find one that's not misassembled. You shouldn't have a hard time with it. He'll be readily available for a while. We're past the time where freaking robots are like impossible to get because they sell out immediately and they never get stock in again. I have seen Wave 2 in my targets over and over and over consistently. I have only seen a couple figures from Wave 3, but I'm really not worried about it. I've only ever seen Galvatron and Rhinox, and I've only seen them once, but overall, I don't think it'll be a problem. I've seen them on Amazon go for perfectly retail price, so I don't think you'll have a hard time finding one without the misassembled. If you're waiting on that, I don't think you'll have a hard time finding it. But me personally, I didn't really care that much. I decided to just grab it because Yeah, he's a good figure. He's a very exciting figure. This is another very solid War for Cybertron trilogy figure. And so far, I mean, the competition's pretty, like, minimal, but he's definitely my favorite figure of Wave 3 so far. So, yeah, very good. I'm super happy with him. He goes perfectly with Studio Series 86 Scourge and Kingdom Cyclonus, and I definitely would recommend him to anybody who wants a Galvatron. And with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like and subscribe for more Transformers content in the future. And this is DK Guillotine, signing out.